Imagine waking up each morning feeling heavier than the day before, not because of physical weight, but because your mind and body are quietly worn down. You push through your work, check off tasks, scroll through notifications, and somehow convince yourself that exhaustion is just part of being an adult. But what if this constant tiredness, irritability, and lack of motivation isn't just normal stress? It's something deeper, something creeping into your life silently, day by day, without you even noticing. This is the reality for millions of modern adults, caught in what experts now call silent burnout, a hidden health crisis that affects our energy, mood, and overall wellness. You might think burnout is just about being overworked, but it goes beyond that. It shows up as subtle symptoms: waking up tired even after a full night's sleep, struggling to focus on simple tasks, feeling emotionally drained, or losing interest in hobbies and relationships you once loved. These signs often get dismissed as temporary stress or busy lifestyles, but over time, they quietly chip away at mental and physical health, influencing everything from sleep patterns and immunity to long-term heart and metabolic health. For many, it starts small: an extra coffee to get through the afternoon, a skipped workout, a late night of scrolling social media. But slowly, the body's natural balance is disrupted, creating a cycle that feels impossible to break. The modern lifestyle itself feeds this hidden problem. Endless deadlines, constant digital notifications, and the pressure to always do more make it easy to ignore the body's warning signals. Wellness routines, mindfulness, or simple self-care practices are often pushed aside, leaving adults trapped in a loop of exhaustion and frustration. The challenge is that burnout doesn't always look dramatic from the outside. It's silent, gradual, and easy to mistake for normal adult life. So how do you know if what you're feeling is just stress, or something more serious that's silently affecting your health and lifestyle? And more importantly, what can you do before it escalates into something that starts controlling your life, rather than the other way around? In this video, we're going to explore the hidden patterns of silent burnout, the key symptoms to watch for, and practical ways to reclaim your energy, focus, and overall wellness before it's too late. This is more than just a conversation about tiredness. It's about understanding how modern life quietly drains us, and discovering the steps to protect your mind, body, and spirit from a problem that is quietly growing in every corner of our fast-paced world. Silent burnout doesn't happen overnight. It slowly creeps into daily life, often disguised as normal stress or just being busy. Long hours at work, constant digital distractions, juggling personal responsibilities, and the pressure to appear successful all chip away at your mental and physical reserves. Even habits that seem harmless, like checking emails before bed, skipping meals, or scrolling social media first thing in the morning, can contribute to this gradual drain. Over time, your body starts sending subtle warning signals. Frequent headaches, restless sleep, low energy, irritability, or a persistent sense of being on edge. Many people brush these off as minor inconveniences, but these early signs are often the first hints of a deeper imbalance in your health and lifestyle. Real-life experiences reveal just how common this issue is. Consider Emma, a 29-year-old marketing professional, who thought feeling exhausted every afternoon was normal. She ignored skipped workouts and skipped meals, thinking she could catch up later, until she realized she had trouble concentrating. Her moods were unpredictable, and she no longer enjoyed activities she once loved. Stories like hers are becoming increasingly familiar in modern society, where the demands of work, technology, and daily life overlap in ways that quietly sabotage wellness. The danger of silent burnout is that it often hides in plain sight, making it difficult to recognize until it has a noticeable impact on energy levels, emotional balance, and long-term health. It's not just about being tired, it's about a lifestyle that slowly erodes well-being, leaving people asking, "How did I get here, and what can I do before it gets worse?" For many adults, the effects of silent burnout go far beyond simple tiredness. It can start to touch every corner of life. Relationships feel strained, motivation at work declines, and even simple decisions feel overwhelming. Take Alex, for example, a young professional who prides himself on managing a busy schedule. He started noticing small lapses in memory, moments of irritability with friends and family, and a constant sense of being behind, even when tasks were completed. At first, he chalked it up to stress or lack of sleep, but over months, the emotional weight became heavier. Anxiety, frustration, and self-doubt began creeping into his daily routines, affecting not just productivity but overall happiness. Medical experts warn that silent burnout is more than just a psychological challenge. It carries physical consequences too. Chronic stress hormones like cortisol can disrupt sleep, increase blood pressure, and affect immune function. Some adults develop digestive issues, headaches, or even persistent muscle tension, all of which are easily mistaken for unrelated health problems. Because the symptoms are often subtle and gradual, burnout is frequently misdiagnosed or ignored, leading many to believe that feeling constantly drained is simply normal adult life. Lifestyle factors intensify the problem. In a culture that glorifies being busy, skipping meals, relying on caffeine, and neglecting self-care often feel necessary. Social media and constant notifications create a state of perpetual alertness, keeping the nervous system on high and making relaxation feel almost foreign. Emotional struggles, like guilt for taking a break or shame for not performing at peak levels, further deepen the cycle. Despite the challenges, many people don't recognize they're in the early stages of burnout until it begins to interfere with relationships, decision-making, and overall well-being. This silent, creeping health problem raises an important question. How do you know when everyday exhaustion is actually a warning sign, and when ignoring it could lead to more serious consequences for both mind and body? As silent burnout progresses, the signs become harder to ignore, but they still often masquerade as normal life. You might notice that mornings feel heavier, your energy dips in the afternoon even after a full night's sleep, or simple decisions suddenly feel overwhelming. Emotional reactions become sharper. Small frustrations trigger longer bouts of irritability, and patience with loved ones wears thin. Some adults start withdrawing from social activities they once enjoyed, while others push themselves harder, believing that constant productivity is the only way to catch up. These subtle shifts may seem manageable at first, but they are early warning signals that your body and mind are struggling to cope. Medical research shows that when burnout reaches an advanced stage, it can have serious health implications. Chronic stress affects the heart, the digestive system, and even immune response, increasing susceptibility to illnesses that once seemed minor. Mental health is equally at risk. Prolonged emotional exhaustion can contribute to anxiety, depression, and a persistent sense of hopelessness. Everyday habits, like skipping meals, relying on caffeine, or overusing digital devices, may feel like small compromises, but over time, they amplify the problem, creating a cycle that's difficult to break. Real-life stories highlight how quickly silent burnout can escalate. For example, people who once managed a demanding career or family responsibilities suddenly find themselves physically drained, emotionally detached, and mentally foggy, struggling to perform tasks that were once routine. The turning point often comes unexpectedly, when the body simply can't keep up and the mind reaches a tipping point. At this stage, burnout is no longer a minor inconvenience. It becomes a serious health concern that affects every part of life, from sleep and energy to mood, focus, and overall wellness. The creeping question becomes impossible to ignore. If the warning signs are here, and the risks are real, how far can silent burnout go before it starts causing lasting damage? What makes silent burnout even more dangerous is how easy it is to overlook, or misinterpret, the warning signs. Many adults assume that fatigue, irritability, or poor focus are just the price of a busy life, a long commute, or a demanding job. They push through, believing rest can wait, only to discover that what they thought was normal stress has been quietly eroding both mental and physical health. Doctors and wellness experts often see patients who arrive only after months, or even years, of ignoring these subtle symptoms. By then, what started as low energy or occasional mood swings has often developed into chronic sleep problems, weakened immunity, or persistent anxiety. Hidden symptoms make the problem even trickier. Some people experience headaches, digestive issues, or sudden changes in appetite, which can easily be mistaken for unrelated health conditions. Others notice a creeping sense of emotional numbness, detachment from work or relationships, or loss of motivation for things that once brought joy. Because these complications are gradual, many don't recognize the connection to burnout until it starts affecting critical areas of life: career performance, personal relationships, or overall wellness. Common mistakes also keep people trapped in the cycle. Over-reliance on caffeine, working late into the night, skipping meals, or scrolling endlessly on devices might seem like harmless coping mechanisms, but they actually intensify stress and disrupt natural body rhythms. Even well-intentioned self-care routines can backfire if they are inconsistent or superficial. The truth is, silent burnout isn't just about exhaustion. It's a complex, hidden health issue that slowly escalates, often surprising adults when the impact becomes undeniable. The alarming question now becomes impossible to ignore. If these hidden symptoms continue unchecked, and everyday habits keep feeding the problem, how severe can this burnout get before it starts causing irreversible effects on both body and mind? The reality hits hardest when adults finally recognize the tipping point. Silent burnout isn't just temporary exhaustion. It's a full-body signal that your lifestyle, stress levels, and daily choices have been pushing you beyond what your mind and body can sustain. Experts emphasize that the turning point often comes not with a dramatic collapse, but with a subtle, undeniable shift. Concentration fails, emotional responses intensify, sleep becomes restless, and motivation disappears. At this stage, what was once manageable stress transforms into a chronic health concern, affecting mental clarity, immune function, and even long-term cardiovascular wellness. The most important insight is that burnout doesn't appear suddenly. It's the accumulation of overlooked habits, emotional strain, and prolonged stress that quietly reshapes the body's natural rhythms. Doctors and wellness specialists warn that ignoring early symptoms, constant fatigue, mood swings, irritability, or loss of interest in activities, can allow burnout to spiral, making recovery longer and more complicated. Real-life experiences confirm this. Adults who ignored these signals often describe hitting a moment when the smallest task feels impossible, when simple interactions trigger disproportionate stress, and when their body's warning signs can no longer be silenced. Here's the unexpected twist. Even at this critical stage, the body and mind retain an incredible capacity to recover, if you first understand the patterns behind burnout and identify which daily habits are fueling it. Awareness itself becomes a turning point. Realizing that this isn't just life or normal adult stress opens the door to restoring energy, focus, and emotional balance. The moment you see the hidden patterns clearly, you gain the power to change them, and that's where the next steps begin. But before we dive into the practical ways to reclaim your wellness, it's worth pausing to reflect. If something so common and silent can escalate into serious health consequences without anyone noticing, how many people are unknowingly living in this same hidden cycle right now? And what will it take to break free? The first step toward breaking free from silent burnout is awareness. Recognizing the signs, persistent fatigue, irritability, brain fog, and emotional detachment, is crucial, because understanding the problem is the gateway to change. Small, intentional adjustments in daily habits can have a big impact on both mental and physical health. Prioritizing consistent sleep, balanced nutrition, and regular movement helps restore energy and support the body's natural rhythms. Setting boundaries with work and digital devices allows the nervous system to reset, giving the mind space to recharge. Equally important is nurturing emotional well-being. Simple practices like journaling, mindfulness, or taking short breaks during the day can reduce stress and prevent overwhelm. Reconnecting with hobbies, friends, or activities that bring joy reinforces balance and resilience. Remember, burnout isn't a sign of weakness. It's a signal from your body and mind that things need to shift. The key takeaway is that silent burnout can be reversed, but it requires noticing the warning signs early, understanding the lifestyle patterns that feed it, and making conscious choices that support wellness. By listening to your body, adjusting daily routines, and protecting your mental health, it's possible to reclaim energy, focus, and overall balance. Life doesn't have to feel like a constant drain. Small, consistent steps can restore vitality and help adults thrive in today's fast-paced world.